games because I was using the MIDI controllers. And so if I can give it a hard...
My Substack that I sort of file towards once a week. So all my games to play on Valentine's Day or like cozy stuff. Or
Hi, I'm Gianni. Gianfranco di Giovanni is my full name. I'm a journalist by trade. I work in radio at the ABC, managing the station there, but I'm a long-term games journalist. Loved it, grew up reading magazines, and wanted to do this. And so when I first finished my radio degree back in the day, I wanted to make a product or like make something for my student portfolio effectively. So I started a podcast 10 years ago called Pixel Sift, and I've kind of been doing it ever since then. And so changed name at one point to SIFTER, and yeah, that's kind of how I've got here. So that has always been the sort of like test bed for how I learn stuff in journalism, is by having this podcast that I do separately.
And why did you choose this topic for the panel discussion?
Can I be honest? They asked me to do it. Yeah. So we got asked last week to put together a panel for this. So, but it's something that I think is interesting, and I think people look at journalism and think it's a particular way, and sort of are curious about that process. So happy to kind of illuminate that. So it's something interesting to me.
Are there any hot topics circulating the gaming sphere that you want to talk about, or that are sort of interesting?
What hot topics at the moment? I think the shadow of AI across every single thing here is really, it's really obvious. I went to one panel earlier today where they were already using large language models to do sentiment analysis on Steam reviews, and there's lots of creatives who are using it as part of their pipeline to make games, and so I think it's really fascinating. And I think if you look at some of the disciplines, it's going to be perfect for what they do, but some of the other disciplines in games, it's an existential threat, right? If you're a creative writer, if you're a narrative, if you make music, if you make art, all of those things, that LLM and large language models and AI, that's scary to a lot of people. So that's the conversation I'm sort of hearing a lot of people talking about at the moment, because I guess we're still in the wild west of what that looks like.
Absolutely. What are your thoughts on the current games journalism climate?
It's hard. It's really tricky. There are less than 5 full-time games journalists in Australia, one less last week. So it's something that's built on enthusiasm, on passion. A lot of people are putting their time into this because they believe in it. So that's the reality of it. It's tricky to be a games journalist. It's really tricky to make money as a games journalist or a living. So for anyone who's interested in doing it, I'd say think about something else that you can do which allows you to fit games journalism into it. So my day job is that I'm a radio producer and host, and I'm now a manager of the station, but my job allows me enough space that I've got ability to go and do games journalism on the side.
Yeah,
so
flexibility, yeah.
That's right. You've got to have a day job. Like everyone who's making games here, most people, until you get to a certain point, if you're an indie creator, which many journalists will be, you've got to have a day job, and it's good. It's not a bad thing to have a day job and do this.
Thoughts on the journalism content creation climate?
As I said, it's tricky to sort of make it work, but you can find your niche and you can find your audience that works, and it's just going to take time. But as I said, you don't want to do it so that you have to rely on it and you're going to survive on all that sort of stuff. But you can make out your own little space, and you can be a valuable place in the community of games. So SIFTER that we do has been around for 10 years now, and so we did this thing where we did an annual list every year of all the games that were released in Australia, and that sort of list has now been included in books, it's been referenced in reports, it's been all that sort of stuff. So in terms of impact, that's quite a big impact on the work that we do. So there is space for it, but you need to be kind of clever about how you can fit it into your life.
Yeah. Are there any more thoughts you have about the future of games journalism?
It's not dead yet. It's not dead yet. But it's changing a lot. It's really challenging. There's just not as many places that will pay you to do this work. So think of something else that will pay you to do it, and you'll find space to do it.
Do you have any good places to freelance?
Yeah, there's quite a few. I mean, like This Week in Video Games has just opened up. That's Australian-based, and also Screen Hub does a bit of freelancing as well. There are a number of sites that do Aftermath, which is another one that's just come up, which take pictures as well. So Polygon occasionally will take pictures. The Verge will take pictures. Even the New York Times will take pictures. So, but it depends. You've got to learn your craft first as a journalist before you need to go and try and do another. As I said, like the best job if you want to be a games journalist is just to be a journalist. Learn to be a journalist and go and report on other things, and then you'll be a really good journalist.
What are the most prominent platforms do you think are in Australia?
Most prominent, YouTube is pretty big. There's a lot of social first stuff that goes on. So people who do vertical videos for TikTok and for Instagram and all of those sorts of things, YouTube Shorts. Podcasts are good as well. You can kind of carve out your own audience. And as you said, Substacks and newsletters is a really good way to directly reach people. And it's a good way to kind of to chat to them that way. So having a website is great. It's good, but you're going to be competing against the bigger sites which can do SEO optimization and all those sorts of things. There are a couple of independent sites. So my one, which is sifter.com.au, is really good. There's also Checkpoint Gaming, there's NextPlay, there's Qualbert, there's Player2, there's Wellplayed. There's a variety of different ones that are smaller outlets, and yeah, they mostly work on volunteers and people who are passionate about doing this sort of reporting. So they're the ones who are probably worth reaching out to if you're keen, and just have that conversation with them. But yeah, just be, think about it as building your portfolio, getting your bylines up.
You mentioned that games journalism is sort of dying. Why do you think that is?
Traditional media is really changing. It's a lot of different. So in the past, if you think about the way that media was distributed, there was much more space for smaller outlets which served just particular audience, right? When newspapers were around, you could have a newspaper for your town and you could have a journalist there, and someone who lived in a different town who didn't get that newspaper could also have a games journalist and have sort of coverage there. Whereas now it's kind of easier than ever to get a story from wherever and sort of distribute it to wherever you'd like. So it's a reality of all of it. The number of people who are working in media is changing, but the jobs are different, right? So, there are a bunch of new social video creators jobs that wouldn't have existed 15 years ago. So those sorts of things can be different, and it's just about, if you're interested in that, try to work out a way to do as much as you possibly can to try and learn a variety of different things and think of opportunities that you can to practice and keep filing and keep delivering to that. And so there's room for that, and you can make a space for it. But for people who are interested, it's just going to take time. It's going to take practice. So yeah.
So for someone who's just getting started in games journalism, are there specific areas that you recommend that they focus on?
Yeah, what you're interested in. Focus on what you're interested in. If you really like Metroidvanias, right, and just find all the ones that do that. Or I really love interviewing people. That's one of my favorite things. So I built a podcast around interviews where I would go and talk to a variety of different developers. So that's what I like doing and like practicing. So find the thing that you're interested in and find a way to do it. And then keep in mind what it is that you're doing and who it's for. Keep the audience front of mind. That's really important. So if you're doing stuff about stuff that you're interested in, picture someone specifically that you're targeting that for, right? Keep someone in your mind about who that target audience is, and then write to them and what they know. And so, keep that in mind when you're putting stuff out there, that you're sending it. It's broadcasting in many respects. It's really online and all that sort of stuff. But you've got to keep a certain person in mind when you're writing or producing online stories.
Cool. Well, that's about it for the questions. But is there anything else you want to say to aspiring games journalists?
Yeah, keep trying. It's great. It's good and it's valuable, and it's important to do it. And the Australian games industry in particular doesn't get a huge amount of attention outside of those massive hits, right? There's lots of people working on interesting creative stories in this country that deserve to be recorded in some way. And that's the reason why I do what I do, is because I really believe that, if things aren't sort of recorded in some capacity, then it's well, how will we know down the track whether or not that's had an influence on something big? So You know, that's part of the process. It may not be the sort of thing that you can make a huge career out of anymore, but there's a way to make a career out of this, and the skills you learn from doing this might get you a job doing something different, and you might not even realize that could be the way that you could make a living out of it. So yeah, keep your mind open, and if you can take opportunities when they come up, that's a big thing to do. So
Awesome, thank you.
no worries.